Slava Isus Augustus, Slava Navika, glory be to Jesus Christ, glory be forever. It's Father Basil again, doing another podcast, and this is, again, reading through the book of Genesis, and we've gone through 19 chapters already. We've gone through Adam and Eve, and creation of the world, and Cain and Abel, and Noah and the flood, and all those things that happened in the early Old Testament. And now we're in the story of Abraham. So this is chapter 20 of Genesis. From there, Abraham journeyed toward the region of the Negev and settled between Kadesh and Shur, while residing in Ger as an alien. Abraham said of his wife Sarah, "She is my sister." And King Abimelech of Gerar sent and took Sarah. But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, "You are about to die because of the woman whom you have taken, for she is a married woman." Now Abimelech had not approached her, so he said, "Lord, will you destroy an innocent people? Did he not himself say to me, 'She is my sister'? And she herself said, 'He is my brother.' I did this in the integrity of my heart and innocence of my hands." Then God said to him in a dream, "Yes, I know that you did this in the integrity of your heart. Furthermore, it was I who kept you from sinning against me. Therefore, I did not let you touch her. Now then, return the man's wife, for he is a prophet, and he will pray for you, and you shall live. But if you do not restore her, know that you shall surely die, you and all that are yours." So Abimelech arose early in the morning and called all his servants and told them all these things, and the men were very much afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham and said to him, "What have you done to us? How have I sinned against you that you have brought such great guilt on me and my kingdom? You have done things to me that ought not to be done." And Abimelech said to Abraham, "What were you thinking of that you did this thing?" Abraham said, "I did it because I thought there is no fear of God in all of this place, and they will kill me because of my wife. Besides, she is indeed my sister, the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother. And she became my wife. And when God caused me to wander from my father's house, I said to her, 'This is the kindness you must do to me. At every place to which we come, say of me, he is my brother.' Then Abimelech took sheep and oxen and male and female slaves and gave them to Abraham and restored his wife Sarah to him. Abimelech said, 'My land is before you, settle where it pleases you.' To Sarah he said, 'Look, I have given your brother 1,000 pieces of silver. It is your exoneration before all who are with you. You are completely vindicated.' Then Abraham prayed to God, and God healed Abimelech, and also healed his wife and female slaves so that they bore children. For the Lord had closed fast all the wombs of the house of Abimelech because of Sarah, Abraham's wife." So, that is chapter 20 of Genesis. A short little chapter where Abraham was in this strange land and again lied about Sarah being his wife and said that she was his sister instead. And it's kind of interesting, why does Abraham keep on doing this? And we'll find out again, like in Egypt, he did the same thing when Sarah and Abraham had to go to Egypt. He lied and said that she was his sister, not his wife. And even though technically, according to genealogy, they were, like Abraham said to the king, she was his sister or half sister, or whatever it may be. No, she was still his wife. And, why would Abraham lie about this? Well, obviously Abraham was afraid, as he said, because he was in a strange land that did not know God, did not understand the moral, about marriage, about one man and one woman to be married for life. So many pagan cultures never had that same understanding of the Jews, that a man and a woman must remain together for life when they give themselves in marriage. So obviously Abraham, because of Sarah's beauty, was very afraid for his life, that he thought that they might kill him and take Sarah themselves for a wife. But even more than that, I think Abraham was, protecting himself, obviously, protecting his physical self, because, as he said, he was worried about being murdered and someone taking his wife, but maybe also protecting Sarah as well, so that, they would, it was a very different mindset in those days, a very different way of thinking, that, the man had total power in society, and women had very little power. And, somehow Abraham was thinking that he was protecting Sarah from, harm by saying that she was his sister. Somehow he thought in his mind this was gonna be beneficial for both of them, that they would not, that they would pretend that they were not husband and wife. So I guess he was trying to do his, manly honor of protection and of a family of his wife, even though to us it doesn't seem like that was what he was doing. But later on in the story, God said to that king Abimelech that Abraham is a prophet, that Abraham is this chosen person to lead the Jewish nation, to be the father of the Jewish nation. So we'll find out in the next chapter that Abraham and Sarah actually do have a son, and the Jewish nation is descended from Abraham. So Abraham had an important role to play in the Jewish history. But again, I don't think Abraham was thinking about harming Sarah when he did what he did, pretending that they weren't married and that she was his sister. So somehow in his mind he had thought that this was going to protect them from harm. And we sometimes do strange things in our own relationships. We have these strange ways of thinking between the man and the woman. What our roles are, what our how we help each other grow in our relationship. And of course, we're looking at a different culture that in ancient Israel was very, very different than what our culture is today. So again, we can't really judge Abraham in our way of thinking, because our way of thinking is not the same as their way of thinking was back then. So, needless to say, Abraham and Sarah eventually had their own son, which we'll talk about next chapter. And he became the ancestors of all the Jewish nation. So that's chapter 20 of Genesis.